to the Awkward Side Hug podcast. I am Brian Andrew. I'm here with my co-host Steven, and we have a lovely, very attractive guest, Bernard. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing all right. We're glad you made time. You look like you have a very busy day.
Yes.
Yes,
Very
things
busy.
are always moving, and I feel like it's always happening at a very rapid rate. And it'll be out of nowhere. And sometimes, like, it'll be a very quiet moment, and the next thing I know, I'm checking my phone, and there's like 40 emails, and I'm like, what? Where did that come from? What am I doing now? But
That's great. So, what a lot of people might not know is we all went to the same high school, but we didn't really hang out. We weren't in the same groups. We know of each other, but we don't really know each other. And now look at us 10 to 15 years later. We're on a Zoom. We're on a podcast together. We want to know, what was your journey like from leaving from a small suburban town in the greater Los Angeles area to now being in New York? And I'm watching football and I see a TikTok commercial come on and I see Bernard. So I want to know how you got from that to where you're at today. If you could just tell us a little bit about your journey.
oh my God. It's a story. I'm like, basically from high school, I was very much so like not the person that I am now. I was in the sense that like, I really did want to just have fun and enjoy life. And that's what I felt like I did during my high school years. But like, I realized once I left high school that I was hiding a lot of me. So literally since high school, all I've been doing is like venturing out and trying to rediscover and return to myself. And it's been traveling the world, dancing on cruise ships. It has been performing in New York. It has been working in New York. It has been moving from Los Angeles to New York because I was like, I'm obsessed with this place. It's been shifting my mindset from like growing up with a more Christian religious background and then shifting to something that is far more spiritual, far more African based, learning more about like me and like who I am and my identity, how I identify. It's been a lot of evolution. And I will say for some reason, like 2020 has been probably the most intense, where as far as like the awakenings that I've had and just like me discovering more about myself. Like this year I've discovered so much and I'm like, I think I need a break. But yeah, it's just been a matter of me being myself, basically. When I left high school, I told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just chop ties with everybody. I was like, I'm gonna start over. I was like, I'm just gonna go to school. Whoever I see, I'll see. And if I don't see them, then that's that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and like do something new. And it was only because I felt like I was like almost running for myself, which is technically what I was doing. But I had to do something drastic to figure me out. And so with all of that, I discovered that like I write like I'm a great poet. Like I love my poetry. I read it and I'm like, ooh, girl, work, you did that. That was cute.
That's awesome.
Which is why I ended up writing a book. And then I discovered that like dance is a major passion of mine, just art in general. It really speaks to my soul. And then I just discovered how much like I really enjoy helping people. I just enjoy helping other individuals like find who they are. I love helping individuals love themselves, express love for themselves, show love for other people, receive love, because that's important. But it's been 10 years of discovery of who I am, basically. And how I want the world to see me.
Wow. How did your TikTok success start? And yeah. No, go for it.
My TikTok success started this year. So I started quarantine like March 5th. I believe it was March 5th, because I remember going to a brunch. And after I went to that brunch, I was like, something ain't seeming right. I don't know about this. And the next thing I know, it was like, well, you're going to be working from home now. And I was like, oh, wait, this might be serious. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to stay in the house. So I literally, from March 5th up until about June something, probably like first, second week of June, I legit was quarantined. I was in my house. I didn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't see anybody. My friends would message me and they were like, girl, let's hang out. Like, should I come over? Blah, blah. And I was like, girl, no. Pandemic, girl. And so this would have been this was the second week of April. No. This was the second week of March. I want to say that I was probably like 4 or 5 days into quarantine. And I kept seeing these TikToks on Twitter. And I was like, what is this? This is a mess. And then I was like, but I kind of want to see. And so I went ahead and I downloaded TikTok, made an account. And then the first video that I posted that night was the Savage Challenge by Megan Thee Stallion. And that was what inspired me, because I kept seeing the Savage Challenge. And I'm obsessed with Megan Thee Stallion. Not obsessed, but I'm like, one day we're going to hang out and we're going to kick it and we're going to get lit. It's going to be a fun time. But I just like her vibe. So the Savage Challenge came out and I was like, I want to do one. So I go ahead, I do the Savage Challenge. It was late at night. Probably like, I don't know, like somewhere between like 12 and 3 a.m. because I had to learn the dance first. And I was like, oh my God, is there like a slow down button or something? And so next thing I know, I wake up the next morning and the video's at 20K views. And I was like, what? And I'm confused because like, I'm not really like, I'm on social media, but I'm not like of social media, if you will. So I was like, so I text my friend who's a little bit younger than me and I was like, girl, what's going viral? What does that mean? Like, how do you know? And I was just curious because I was like, this is weird. I've never had that many people look at a video. And since then I was like, okay, well maybe I just like keep playing around because they had all these different dance things going on. And so I started off with the dance things. And then at some point I was just like, I'm gonna just throw me on here. And basically what shot up my TikTok career was, so a friend of mine, her name was Jasmine, she lives in the UK. So she hit me up and she was like, hey Bernie, she was like, I wanna do the Don't Rush Challenge. She was like, but I wanna do it with all my friends from around the world. We used to work on cruise ships together. So we used to travel the world together. So I was like, of course, boo, I got you. Just give me the details and I'll do it. She gave me the details for it. I went ahead, recorded the video. I was dressed, boom. And then next thing I know, I was like, girl, like, what you gonna do now? You're in a whole suit. Like, where you going? And it was quarantine and I wasn't going nowhere. And I have asthma, so I'm like, girl, I'm high risk. I don't wanna play no games. And so I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and like make a video. I'm gonna do a TikTok, why not? And so it was literally off the rip. And I poured myself a glass of wine and I'm trying to record this video and I'm improvising it, but it just wasn't feeling right. With every video I do, if it's not right, like authentic, if it don't feel right energetically, oh, she's a chop, I'm not doing it. And so I was on my third glass of wine and finally the video, I was like, that's dope, I like it. And I posted it and it became a thing of, I said self, myself said sis, and then I was like, oh, people like this, I guess. And my friends kept, they were like, girl, I told you, it's just you, girl. You're lit, you're fun, blah, blah, blah. Just do you on the app. No, you don't have to do anything with anybody else's voice. And then I started doing that. And then people was using my voice and then, yay.
That's great.
I think we're gonna need some pointers though, because our social media needs to boost some followers.
Right.
Okay, so I have a question. This is more of a fun
Yes.
question. So Brian and I, we've never been to New York. You know, let's say Brian and I, you know, after quarantine, we clear up, we go take a trip to New York, and you know, we want to explore the town or just a good night out. Where would you take us, or what would you show us that would be really fun in New York? Something for first timers to do, more so, you know, on the night out.
You're a night owl?
I am.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so I don't know. I have a son now, so I'm a little less of a night owl.
Okay.
But in my past,
Congrats.
I used to be a night owl. Thank you.
I recently adopted a puppy, so I'm not a night owl anymore either. So,
Congrats. That's a baby. That's a
yeah,
child. You're a
yeah.
father.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, where would I take y'all? It kind of depends. Okay, because it depends on what you want to do or like what you consider to be fun. If you're trying to like go out, I'm gonna be real with you. I rarely go out now, and majority of what I do is going to be very LGBTQ based, and that's just because, in my opinion, we have a lot of fun.
Well, if it's gonna be fun, then we're down. So,
I'm just looking for fun.
Okay, so I would take you to Harlem. That's first. I would take you to Harlem. We would eat, hang out, do all of that. Maybe Harlem Nights. Angel of Harlem, hang out over there. Then we have to go to the Heights, basically. Like at night, the Heights is everything. The Heights or Dykeman, just because people are on the streets having fun, people are in the clubs having fun. Everybody's mad hype. The energy's crazy. People are dancing. It's a party. Like the Heights and Dykeman it's so lit. It's so lit. And then if you want to, you also have like Hudson River that's right over there. So you could like walk over there if it's late, chill on the grass, like just kick it with whoever you're with. You know, and if they're still doing drinks to go at this point, take a drink to go.
that sounds like a lot of
But
fun.
that's what I would recommend, like for first timers in New York, because it's real. It'll be more so like you get a little bit of a touristy thing in Harlem, not really, but just taste. And then like going to the Heights, that's a whole experience. Nobody's really like coming to visit New York to just go to the Heights, I feel.
Okay.
To piggyback off that, you know, us, Brian and I, you know, experiencing LA a little more, and just hearing what we hear, it seems like New York's kind of more of a tougher area. It kind of intimidates me a little. I mean, in you know, living there, I mean, is it tougher than LA, or if you know if you can survive LA, you're good in New York?
You know what? If it depends. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. So in New York, folks are very upfront and very blunt. So like, it's not mean blunt, because when I moved here, I was like, I'm gonna have to deal with mean people, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm super nice. Like, I don't really want to deal with that. But then I realized, oh no, it's not that at all. People are just forward. So if you're in the way, sweetie on your left, you know, if you ask a question, hey, like, where is this train at? It's over there. It's make a left, boom, boom, 50th in, you know, this street, you'll be good. But nobody really has the time to do all the pleasantries. And I feel like LA, Cali in general, for the most part, there's a lot of pleasantries where people are more so willing to like sit there and have conversations. In New York, you can find that. New York is a place where I feel like you can go by yourself out and you'll be good. The amount of places I've been in New York on my own, just like sitting at a bar, sitting at a restaurant, a bar and a restaurant, just walking around, riding on the train, but wanting to go out. I've met people and hung out with those people that night. And like, and some of them I still kick it with, still talk to. Some of them we're just like social media friends now. And then some of us like, that was it. We just had that one night. It was dope. And then we never saw each other again just because they were visiting. But like, I remember, especially in Hell's Kitchen in New York, the amount of folks where I'm like, I'm very talkative, as you can probably see. And so I'll be like on the street, and if I think someone's cute, if I think somebody's outfit's cute, somebody's hair is dope, anything like that, I'll be like, pay a compliment. And then at that point, now we talking. And then I'm like, well, girl, what you doing? And they're like, okay, well, I'm kind of going to here, but I don't know. Well, I know where I'm going. Just want to come with me? Like, me and my friends are going to go to this. And then like, I kick it with real cool people, and we just, you know, we're about the vibe, we're about the energy. So if your energy's right, oh, let's do it. So New York can be that. It's just, I think, honestly, it's about the energy that you give off. Because my New York experience has been very fantastic. But I've met people who've had terrible New York experiences. I will say this also, New York, you have to just go in. You can't fight it. You can't try to make it what you know. You have to, for real, let New York be New York. And you have to just except her. Because if you fight her, she will win.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
But it's fun.
So we brought you here because we think you would be the perfect guest to talk about self-motivation and to help our listeners with self-motivation.
Okay.
So so we were wondering, like, first things first, how do you get your day started?
I start my day off with gratitude. I wake up, I look around. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I woke up. That's fun. That's already a plus. If I'm waking up, I have gratitude. And I'll thank my ancestors, for keeping my spirit cool while I was asleep. I will thank, the creator just for the breath that's flowing within my lungs. I will honestly thank the sun for rising up and waking me up, because I do have a lot of sun in my apartment, and that was like a big thing for me. So I'll thank the sun just for rising. I'll thank the oxygen for doing what it does. I start with gratitude. Whatever it is that I feel thankful for that morning, that's what I start off with. And it's just because I noticed that there was a change. And it's like consciousness, I feel like, is really big. So I started to realize that, like, when I woke up and just started working, or if I woke up and just started my day without any kind of thanks, any kind of awareness as to where I was, what I was doing, anything of that sort, what would end up happening is my day wouldn't really go right. The other thing that I do is I set an intention for what my day is going to be, how it's going to be, what am I going to do, things of that sort. So I'm kind of like, how can I go about making sure that I know what kind of intention my day is going to have, so that way if my day goes different than that, maybe there's something I'm meant to learn, because although I set an intention for it, and something else happened, then maybe there was a lesson for me that I missed, something else that was supposed to happen.
That's great. So, I mean, COVID has affected everybody in some way, shape, or form. And, our listeners obviously have been affected in some way by COVID, but how has COVID affected you and your mental health, and how have you been, able to stay on the path that you're on?
That's been rough. I am a very empathetic person, and I feel for a lot of others. I technically feel okay when it comes to this situation. I have a little bit have been very much so internal, because I spent so much time in my house by myself. With everything that was going on, I had to unsubscribe to a lot, paying attention to what I watched, what I was feeding into my brain, what I was thinking about. And I was like, okay, well, I have to change this, because it was, in the beginning, it weighed heavy on my spirit, only because I was seeing so much death happening, and I didn't like it. But then I would also see how many individuals were like not necessarily following any rules or not doing anything to help. And that was weighing on me, because I was like, no, guys, like, come on, like, we got to help each other. Like, this is a time when we have to focus on us together as a collective, because obviously this particular thing is doing what it's doing, but there are no rules with it, it doesn't care about relations or race, gender, color, any of that, so this is a collective thing. We have to all, like, love each other enough to care about the other person. So after some time, I was okay. Bernard, detach yourself for a little bit. Pull back and focus on you. And that's what I did. And that helped me out a lot, because I was able to finally calm my breathing down. I noticed that I was taking very short breaths, just like I wasn't able to be fully present in this moment, because I was just thinking about a future that had not happened yet. And I was living there and not present at all. And I'm like, well, if I'm up there, then who's here in this, doing this? So I had to shift my focus a little bit. And that's when I started focusing on myself, trying to heal, working on just past hurt that I've been holding on to, trauma, things of that sort. So I just took this time basically to, like, let's get to know me since I got to be up in his house. And I was already scared. I didn't want to go outside anyway because I was very, very nervous, especially with my asthma and stuff. I was like, and I'm in New York, and I have like some of my cousins here, but like I was in Queens, my cousin was in Brooklyn, and I'm like, I'm not leaving this house because I don't want to chance it. And then there was so much information that was so mixed. So I was like, okay, girl, what can you control? You. Are you going anywhere? No. So what are you going to do here? Let's figure that
That's great.
out.
How do you, like you were saying, like we all have to love each other and come together. So especially with like the climate in the last month or so, how do you feel about, you know, a lot of the divide that's going on in the world, and how do you think people should come together and start loving each other?
You know what? I've been looking at what's been going on in the world. And when I'm out, I pay attention to people on the trains. I don't wear headphones or anything like anymore in New York, which is like blasphemous. Like I tell my friends, they're like, girl, wear your headphones. And I'm like, what headphones? They're like, you just be out? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I want to remember my New York experience as the car is honking, somebody cursing her man out on the corner of the street. You know, like I want to remember these things. But by doing that, I've been able to pay a little bit more attention to what's been going on. And although there is a lot of focus on a divide, there is a lot of union happening, a lot of new union, a lot of exciting unions happening. I've noticed so many individuals who have begun to speak up about things they never have. I've seen people speak up to their family members, their parents, their grandparents, and start fighting and standing up for what they truly believe in and for the people they believe in. And I've been focusing on that aspect because what I've noticed is a headline will make it seem as if the divide is huge. But I'm looking at things and I'm like, no, I don't know about that. It is a divide, sure, yes, of course. But there's a lot of people that I'm noticing who are exhausted. They want to just love, and they want to be loved, to be real. It's just that a lot of us don't want to say it because we don't have the courage to say it, and it's okay because I didn't have the courage to say it at one point, and it's cool. That's why there's people like me. I got you. I'm going to tell the people, we're ready to love now. We're ready to love each other. We're ready to love ourselves. We're ready to love each other. People are exhausted of being who they're not. People are tired of waking up and then having to start their day by putting on a mask. You wake up in your house, you're yourself for a moment, you brush your teeth, you get ready, you say hi to your children, your dog, your wife, your girlfriend, your whoever, your spouses, your partners, whatever, or you just say good morning to you. You start, and then it feels good. And then before you leave your door, let me get my mask and then put on my mask. Nobody's trying to do that anymore. Now we have two masks that we have to wear on. The one of the pretending person that we're really not because society. And then the other one because, you know, particles. I don't know what they're called. But, you know, that's a lot. And I'm starting to notice that people are actually ready to love. The amount of individuals who are messaging their friends and figuring out what their relationship is, the amount of people who are figuring out themselves now, there's a lot of unity that is happening. And I think it's because we're collectively hurting all together. And we're realizing that, like, although, sure, there's a whole, you have party divides, you have racial tensions, religious things, okay. But we're all collectively losing people at a very rapid rate. Mm-hmm. And we're tired, and we're hurt, and we're exhausted, and we need to work through things. And we're ready to work through it. We want to work through it, but it's just a matter of feeling like you have a safe space to work through it. And technically the world we live in hasn't necessarily set up that space for us. But I think that people are in a space where they're finally starting to realize, nah, we're gonna just create it. in a group who's been surprising me. They had me a little worried at first because they was eating laundry detergent and Tide Pods and stuff. But Gen Z has actually shocked me a little bit. I'm like, okay, thank y'all. Y'all are doing something. All right. We needed y'all energy. Okay. So I've actually noticed more of like a unity than the divide. The divide is a mess. Don't get me wrong. But we got to work through it because we've had the world that we've lived in for so long, and certain things have been hidden for so long that have been very evident to others, but not other individuals. And at this point, it's kind of just like, okay, well, we're a social media era. We're on technology. We're in the house. We're on these things all day. So now at this point, we're all kind of sort of seeing the same thing to a degree, but we're seeing a lot. And at this point now, everybody's like, there's so many of us, I think, who were confused at one point that we were like, okay, well, now I have to make my own choices and think for myself. And it's like, yes, I'm here for this. Let's think for ourselves, because I will use me as an example. I grew up in a household where you couldn't always question people or question adults or anything because it was deemed as disrespectful. But now, you have, 16-year-olds in the house like, so Mom, why are we doing this again? What was the point? Mm-hmm. And then their parents are saying something like, but that doesn't make sense because when you really think about it and this and this, and they go through it, and I love to just watch. And I'm like, okay, there we go. Let's talk about it. But yeah.
That was really beautiful.
So we're coming to the end here of our interview. We have a very mixed set of listeners from all walks of life. But if you can just give them a powwow, something to kind of send them off, one of your self-motivating talks. I've seen them on your Instagram. I don't have TikTok because I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but I'm glad you post them on your Instagram because I do watch them and I think they're great. And so, like, what's something that you can just give to our listeners, just some energy to send their way, some positive energy when they listen to this episode?
I would encourage anybody who's watching this to remember something. It is about the we. It's about we because even when I'm focusing on me, even when you're focusing on you, it's still for the collective. Why? Because when I take the time that I need to recuperate, to get my energy back, to refill my cup, to rest, I'm then gonna go back out into the world 100% and then put my heart and soul back into the collective. But I can't give the collective all of me if I don't take care of me. So at the end of the day, it's all for the collective. We kind of already are helping one another. It's just about being conscious to it. And with that, that's why I will always say, I love me. I love you. I love you just because. I don't even have to know you, but I love you because I love love, and loving you loves me because I am you and you are me. And we literally are one. Like, we come from the same source in my thoughts. So at the end of the day, I just love you because you're a different aspect of me, and you help me. You help me because you being in my life shows me something, shows a different aspect of myself that I am not. So then I get to see something else and say, ooh, I like that. Let me try this out. It allows me to explore self-expression on a different level. If I see you treat people a certain way, ooh, I like that. Let me adopt that. If I see somebody treat someone in a way that I don't appreciate, I don't necessarily vibe with that. Let me make sure that's not a part of me. Mm-hmm. We all really are here for one another. We're helping each other out every day, whether we probably realize it or not. But with that, I love y'all.
We love you too.
We love you, yeah.
So we have one last question. And this is probably the most serious question we got.
Okay.
And before you answer, we have additional information we need to give you. Let's say you're about to enter a dance battle, and you have to pick either me or Steven. Now, before you answer, we're gonna give you our resumes. I'm Brian Hips Don't Lie Hammond. Okay, I could swing it a little bit. It's a little off rhythm. I was not born with a lot of rhythm, but it's but it's there. And Steven, you can make your case.
And so I'm Steven Pop Lock Galindo. Used to pop lock back in the day, a little bit of breakdancing. So, I mean, I got a little bit of rhythm.
Okay.
So you had to pick one of us.
Okay, I'm gonna be real because I'm an honest person.
Okay, go for it.
I gotta go with Brian.
Ooh.
But I gotta go with Brian because of the delivery
Ooh.
and his confidence. And there was no like underlying like a little bit. It was like, no, I'm hips don't lie. That's it.
I can't blame you. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen him in the club. There was a point where he got on stage and he hip thrusted so much that he had. I mean, I hope your fiance is not listening, Brian, but he had girls around him, and I mean, he was the life of the party once he thrusted those hips. So I can't blame you at all. I can't blame you at all.
We have a couple minutes left. Do you have any additional thoughts you want to share, or
can you share? Yeah, share your social media. You know where they can find your
oh my God.
your merchandise.
Yes, I totally forgot. I rarely like promote myself, which is probably weird to say, but I'm so bad at promoting me. I'm so terrible at it. But I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna try to do better. I'm gonna learn. So my name is Bernard Velasquez. Feel free to call me Burns, Authentic Burns, or Honeybee, whichever you prefer.
Oh, I like Honeybee.
Thank you. You can find me on Instagram or on TikTok at Authentic Burns. You can find me on Facebook, Bernard Velasquez. I'm on Twitter, and you'll end up finding it, so I'll just mention it. But we all know how Twitter works. So sometimes it's not always that inspirational on Twitter. Sometimes the message got to come out real raw. So have discernment if you want to follow me on Twitter. But Instagram and TikTok at Authentic Burns. AUTHE. Authentic. No, TIC? I can't even spell it. BERNS. Yes. That's it, right?
I believe so.
Hopefully.
But don't worry, when we promote this episode, we're gonna put you in the show notes. We'll put you on the Instagram post and the Twitter post. So we got you. We got your back.
Yeah, we got you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. See, and this is why I don't have to worry.
I have to say, like, okay, so we interviewed, just real quick, we interviewed William Hung from American Idol, and that was fun.
Oh my God!
But this interview was way more energetic. I love the energy you bring. You've actually, like, I've started to think of things in a different point of view, which I love to do. I'm very studious. I like to read books, and I just like to see the world in different points of views, and brought different perspective to my vision. And so, thank you for that. Thank you for taking the time to.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Like, we know you're a busy person, and for you to take an afternoon to talk to us, just some guys that from high school, we really appreciate it.
No, of course. I appreciate this, to be honest with you. And I'm going to say this, working in New York, the job that I work at now, I've met so many cisgendered heterosexual males. And they have really changed my thought process and changed the way I interact with men and how I feel around cisgendered heterosexual men. Because of where I come from, it was iffy in the beginning. It was rough. However, being able to do this interview and seeing y'all again, talking with you guys again, even like feeling the openness of just the energy, I appreciate it. Because again, this proves to me that like what I see with the unity that's happening in the world, it is far more than the divide they're trying to push. But it's easier to push a divide, which is why you have shows like all like the drama shows, if you will, why they can do so well. But the thing is, love does actually it will go further than that, way further than that, which is why when you have relationships like Will and Jada having a problem, people are like, what? No, I'm not going to have like, they were like my hope, blah, 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 blah. And that's how you're like, see, y'all over here hiding, but y'all all low-key want to be loved, and you want to love on somebody too, and it's okay, because so do I, and we will. We're going to get there. It's going to take some work. We got to heal, but we're going to get there, though. So I thank y'all for, like, this moment and this energy exchange. I'm here for it.
Oh, and that is the Awkward Side Hug podcast. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.